Anti-bucket list. What's something you'll never do again? Rent a car while visiting NYC. That's like asking to babysit someone's kid on vacation. This analogy will now be used too often. Assume that every coworker is a friend. Edit, this is the most upvoted and awarded thing I ever posted on Reddit. Thank you all. I guess we were all burned by our optimism with befriending coworkers at some point. I hope you're all surrounded by much better people now. Used to work at a chain with my dad. Location just opened and I needed my first job and he wanted a second part-time for fun cash/vacations. Half the people were my age, other half were middle-aged. Made some friends. One of them said they'd tell my dad I smoked weed if I didn't do something for them. Jokes on them. My dad smoked too, lol. Settling for a relationship knowing you are not really happy. Never again. This is why first divorces happen after 7 years, average, but second divorces happen within 6 months. People are much quicker to nope out if it isn't working. Ha ha. I didn't know that statistic, but I'm glad people are also learning from past mistakes. Learning to find a suitable partner before tying the knot and not getting divorced would be pretty high on my learn from past mistakes list. I was a server for 5 years. It was fun most of the time, but God almighty, the worst customers could drive a person to murder. I feel you, man. I'm currently serving RN to get through uni and goddamn some of these people make me question my entire life's decisions. I like to drink. I live on an island. I frequently surf, swim in the ocean, etc. I even surf at night with glow sticks. I would never get in the water after drinking more than 1 drink. I don't understand any of this swimming in the sea at night stuff. One time while on vacation with friends we were drinking on the beach and vowed to come back for a nighttime dip. Later that night we got down to the shore, took one look at the black abyss and collectively said phew udge that. Exactly. The ocean is always a bit scary to me. At night it is absolutely terrifying. Go to Disney World's Magic Kingdom on Christmas Day. Shoulder to shoulder people, insane lines, and nothing special I couldn't see earlier in the month. This is true for New Year's and the 4th of July. Other than the fireworks that were different, the park was ridiculous and we sat around most of the day. Now I always pee before cutting jalapeno peppers. The other way around, never again. Edit, just to add, this was for a meal prep with my housemate. I ran upstairs and immediately took a shower, cold, during which I focused a lot of cold water on Little Ed. Note, cold water on a jalapeno accosted Little Ed offered only a brief respite. It was a bad time. Upon returning to food prep, she asked me if I had a date later, prompting the shower. Sadly I did not, but we whipped up a kick-ass chili that we enjoyed for the rest of the week, and had a good laugh at my misfortunate encounter. It was putting in contacts that did it for me. I refuse to ever do retail again. People are literally such assholes and don't realize you're trying to help them and still get their job done. After 20 years with Walmart, both hourly and salaried, and 5 with Michaels, I almost killed myself. If my dog hadn't come up to me that night and just rested her head in my lap until my eye broke and started to sob loud enough my wife woke up and took me to the hospital, I wouldn't be here today. Fuck retail. Fuck it up the ass with a chainsaw. Edit, thank you all for your kindness and empathy. You're all amazing. Just so everyone is aware, because a few people reached out, my mental health is much better now and I'm working for a company that values me and I love what I'm doing. Jesus man, I'm sorry that they broke you like that. You really spoke to me about what I'm dealing with. Nobody should have to endure that kind of embarrassment, ridicule, and abuse just to put some food on the table or keep the water hot for another month. Childbirth and the postpartum period. Love my daughter to death. One and done. People are shocked when I say we're one and done. Don't you want them to have a sibling? Fudge no. One is hard enough. Pregnancy and birth traumatized my wife so much she switched her therapy practice to focus on perinatal mental health just to help others through it. Seriously. What is it with people wanting a kid to have a sibling? Don't you want them to have a best friend for life? No dude, they'll make plenty of friends. My body and bank account are both saying no. Getting attached too quickly to someone that wanted me first. Getting played by someone like that is a different kind of pain. If you lost interest, make it more obvious. Geez. I've been at points in my life where I've been so desperate that my standards dropped to likes me. It feels like shit just trying to connect with anyone and everyone and seeing where it goes. I've lost a lot of friends because I tried to turn the friendship into something it's not. I would like to think I've improved, but I still am desperately wanting a relationship. This is something you don't hear people talk about enough. You always hear about unrequited love from the perspective of the lover. It can be really confusing from the other side as well. When someone is so open about liking you, it can feel like you owe them a chance. You don't want to break their heart. But the truth is, if you need to convince yourself to be with someone, it's probably not going to work out. Pulling an all-nighter. Age is catching up on me. I lost a final assignment worth 65% of my final grade when my computer crashed. I did not have appropriate backups at the time. Pulled 4 days straight to get 4 months of work done and wrote an exam somewhere in those 4 days. Passed the exam and the other class didn't even get half of the lost assignment done. All-nighters suck at any age. Binge drink. I used to go on benders for a week or two. Now I barely ever drink. Working my way out of this shitty habit myself. I swear the universe has been screaming at me to stop drinking like I do. I'm constantly hearing ads and seeing people talking about quit drinking. By my late 20s I got really sick and tired of wasting my weekends getting drunk, then recovering from hangovers. One of the final motivators was realizing that every weekend it was the same stupid shit from guys I played softball with. Dude, I was so drunk last weekend. I tripped in the parking lot, shit my pants, and my girlfriend left me there in disgust. Where we drinking next weekend? After too many weekends of hearing the same old stupid shit, I decided to do more productive things with my body and life. 3.5-hour jungle hike with almost no water and wearing only a bathing suit and water shoes. I didn't do this by choice but was more or less forced into it, and it sucked. Sounds not only horrible, but downright dangerous and irresponsible of whoever was in charge. I did something similar in Hawaii, asked the hotel about any good hikes, was recommended a nearby trail that was about 1.5 miles. It was at least 3, maybe 4 miles each way. My wife and I brought 1 water bottle each. Kept going thinking the viewpoint must be just ahead. The viewpoint was very impressive, and it was a good hike, just should have been a bit more prepared. Camping by a river that was flooded by melting snow from an area that was 6 hours away and having to be heli rescued. It was fucking embarrassing. Your username tells me that might not be your last camping mishap. Oh, I don't doubt it. That's the spirit. Bungee jump. As soon as my feet left the edge, all I could think was, well, that was stupid. It was exciting and probably safe enough. But it was enough for me to know I will never willingly do that again. Me too. I enjoyed it, but having all the blood rush to my head gave me a serious headache for 3 days. Not worth it for 72 hours of head pain. Edit, I don't want to put people off giving it a try. My experience is not necessarily the same for everyone. It's a hell of a rush and I did enjoy it. I don't regret trying it in the slightest. It's just not something I'll likely try again. So, fun fact that I learned after bungee jumping was that apparently if you have severe myopia, it's not recommended at all. I had gone and had a blast, until I felt a pop in my eyes and got a migraine and spots in my vision. Turns out, I had a mild vitreous detachment in my eyes that has left a small dark spot in my vision 7 years later. So yeah, probably won't be doing that again. When I was 16 or 17, my best friend convinced me to do one of those giant swings at an amusement park, the kind where you get harnessed in and your belly down and they hoist you really high and drop you and you just swing back and forth for fudging ever. Fudge that. Fudge all of that. I hated every second of it and I would never, ever do it again. Lol, my sister, her friend and me did that bundled together as 3 people, and the second they released us in the most British accent ever, her friend screams at the top of his lungs, "Fudge my life in front of so many families." It was crazy though, way faster and higher than I expected. Working in academia, left 2 years ago and never looking back. Fuck that noise. Yeah, academia is a fucking PTSD minefield. I remember having a research meeting once where a fellow student at the time broke down in the middle of a presentation and just started bawling. Our supervisor looked at her and waited for her to resume the presentation. When she didn't, she asked her to leave the room to collect herself and the meeting continued as if nothing happened. Biggest WTF moment for me. I regret not speaking up to this day, but she was also in control of a significant portion of my grad school funding. I will never ever work in academia again. I swear it attracts psychopaths. Some professors were wonderful and empathetic, but the ones who were calloused and crazy got away with far too much for far too long. There were foreign students who literally introduced themselves to a professor with English names even when their names were easy to pronounce, like Louis or Han, because he was notoriously racist. He stayed a professor for 25 years before an Asian department head finally pushed him out of teaching. Smoke. Did it for 14 years. I feel so much better having quit. Been about 10 years since and the amount of money saved and the smell and the cough. I quit 3 months ago and this is the best I felt since childhood, lol. I shudder at that nasty feeling in my mouth. Just quit myself. Feel way better.